Greetings. I'm Stan Houston. This is the Master Entrepreneur, and it's Friday, the 22nd of November. A significant day, and we'll talk about that. Also, we are approaching, and we are now right in what is called the giving season. That's right, it is the giving season, and hopefully it is also the Thanksgiving season. And we're going to talk about giving. And some of the hardest giving of all is to give forgiveness. Oh my. That's the one that I have a lot of trouble with from time to time. Hopefully I'm getting better at it. And if you'll give me a few minutes of some real conversation, I'd like to talk about giving and about forgiving and remembering what the day is all about. I'm Stan Houston. The program begins right now. And I hope that you will forgive me. First of all, for those of you who get my send out, I made a mistake. I put Wednesday, November 22nd. That's because I used the same template from Wednesday, and I changed the date, but I forgot to change the day. Please forgive me. Not a big mistake. I hope it's easy enough for you to forgive me for doing that, but thank you very much for that. And also, I want to say thank you for forgiving me to a man named Cody. Cody is a gentleman, and he is the manager of the local bank, and it happened to me again. I don't know how, but I lost my bank debit card, and this is the second time within the last 6 months that I have done that. And of course, dear Cody, wonderful young gentleman, called him up, and he said, "No problem, Stan. We can take care of that." I was so humiliated and so embarrassed, but he was right at it. And isn't it nice when people, even though you've done something stupid, they will help take care of it? And he said, "It's all taken care of, Stan. Why don't you just come in later this afternoon and we'll get you a new card right today so you can use it this weekend." So he forgave me, and I give him thanks. I'm grateful for him. It's really good to give thanks. One of the challenges that I received, and I passed it on to you, is from some of the ancient wisdom of the Hebrew Scriptures, and particularly what is called the Talmud, which is commentary on the Scriptures in the Jewish tradition, and the sage who said, "Make sure you say thank you 100 times a day." Say thank you 100 times a day. And then my friend Risa sent me a note with a quote that she had picked up, and it said this: "God gave you 86,400 seconds today. 86,400 seconds today. Did you use one of them to say thank you?" Well, I did, because she reminded me. But I needed reminding, too, that perhaps that's something I should do every day. Giving thanks. One of the things I used to say, and still say it, but I have to say it again and remind myself, because we're going through some challenging times right now, is a thankful and grateful heart is seldom a fearful heart. A thankful and grateful heart is seldom a fearful heart. But I had to remember that. We're going through some challenging times right now. And we could use some of your help, particularly here at the Christian Entrepreneur Network. So if you could help us out as we're pressing forward to the new year with new challenges and new opportunities, I would be grateful if you could help us out with a sponsorship gift. And you just go to tcenglobal.org/contribute now, tcenglobal.org/contribute now. I would be grateful. Also, today is a day to remember. And if you're old like me, like my wife said to me the other day, Stan, we're old. We just are right now. We may not act old, and we certainly have a younger state of mind, but look at our bodies. We're old now, but we're thankful. But if you remember 1963, this was the day, very much like 9/11. And for some of you who might be much older, and certainly our parents, the day of December 7th, 1941, the day of Pearl Harbor. Then, of course, November 22nd, 1963. Do you remember where you were when we got news that the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, had been shot? And we discovered soon afterward that it had been a bullet to the head, and the man had died. And incredible grief and spectacle. And if you were around, I just did a survey, and almost everybody remembers from that era where they were when that happened. And if you are of that age and stage, perhaps share that story. And then, of course, most of us, but not all of us, remember on that September 11th, 2001. September 11th, 9/11, 2001. So these are one of the days to remember. And in remembering things, let's see if we can give thanks for the good things and the good people who might have done good things for others on those tragic and difficult and maybe even horrible days. As we say, did we find people who blessed in the bad? Blessed in the bad. And that's what we all seek to try and be and do from time to time. This is the giving season. Now, it is obviously very commercialized. Remember this coming Thanksgiving Day, at least for those of us in North America and the United States of America. Our friends in Canada have their Thanksgiving Day a little earlier in the harvest season. But by November, 27th, 28th, the last Thursday in November, for the most part, the harvest is in. And so we're getting ready. The snow is coming. The winter is coming. The harvest is done. And so it's a time for family and friends to give thanks. And as I've said, and many people have amened this, they said, it really is one of our favorite holidays because you really can't do a whole lot more to it because it's about giving thanks to God. Now, of course, they then take the next day, Friday, and that's the start of the buying season, so you can be giving. And, of course, then on Monday, there is a Cyber Monday, so you can buy some things online. And then Tuesday, which we've mentioned before, is Giving Tuesday. And on that day, you're supposed to give to some cause or some charity or some organization that you feel is worthy of some giving to. And so it truly is the thanks and the giving season. And as we approach even the Christmas holidays, those of us in the Christian tradition give thanks for the very gift of God to us. He showed up. God showed up. As someone said, He became somebody who was right with us. And then I said, more than that, He became one of us. One of us. And He not only gave us more than, quote, a ticket to eternity, He gave us the example of how to live well and how to love well and how to receive God's creative power. God's creative power. So what are you giving? What about forgiveness? I confess this is something I have worked at a lot, and I'm pretty good at it. But the idea of forgiving people, giving forgiveness, is something that we're called to do. Certainly, Jesus did the ultimate when he gave forgiveness to the very people who were nailing him to his death. Giving forgiveness. And we've seen a few scenes of that from time to time, where even sometimes the people who have had a friend or a family member murdered or hurt, and they offer forgiveness to the people who perpetuated the crime and criminal and vicious, terrible act. We see it from time to time, and we are almost overwhelmed by it in all of all the amazement of it. They gave grace, and it was truly amazing. So what I'd like you to do today is just think about that. That as we are going through to 2020, there's certainly some things that you should give, and let's do that. And perhaps, and I think back, and are there some people that you need to forgive? Are you willing to do that? Can you do that? Would you do that? And perhaps there's some people that they need to offer their forgiveness, their I'm sorry to you. Guess what would happen if we would take giving forgiveness very seriously? Just think about that. I'm asking that God will give me a little more grace and perhaps a little more courage to be a little kinder, a little gentler, and more forgiving. Because you know what will happen? I know this, but it's still hard. That the more I forgive, the more I will be forgiven. I also am thankful that just out of the clear blue sky, someone knew of a need that I had, and without asking, they just gave me a gift. And I am profoundly grateful for that. I hope you will look for the opportunities to say thank you in this Thanksgiving season, that you will look for ways to give what is truly important in this giving season. And I'm not just saying this to you. I'm saying this to me. And I just thought that I would try and make it more real by going on record and saying, you heard me say it. Now pray for me that I can do it, and hold me to it. Indeed, this is the season for giving and forgiving. There's much that we have to do. 2020 is now just about 5 weeks, almost 5 weeks, a little more than 5 weeks, but it's very close. And 2020 will be a difficult and challenging year in many, many ways. There are a lot of things that are going to happen, a lot of changes that are going to take place in our life, in our business, in the enterprises we do. Obviously, we'll have challenges of faith and health and spirit. And so we enter it with a certain sense of thanksgiving for the opportunity to live, but certainly asking God to give us a great grace in living it well. And remember, God gave you a lot of seconds today. What was that? 86,400 seconds? Can you use one of them to say thank you? And I'm thankful for you. Best and blessings. Till next time, bye for now.